Greetings Internet, I'm the Classic Nerd and I am here to give you a regular dosage of nostalgia. Today I wanted to bring you back to the late 1990s with the Legacy of Kain series. I always felt that this series was underrated. I have fond memories of beating this game, but whenever I tried to tell my friends about it or ask my friends if they'd played Legacy of Kain, they always looked at me kind of weird, but I was always a weird kid, so I just thought it was normal. Legacy of Kain is a series of action-adventure video games primarily developed by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix, formerly Eidos Interactive. I've never understood how to say their name. The first title, Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, was created by Silicon Knights in association with Crystal Dynamics, but after a legal battle, Crystal Dynamics retained the rights to the game's intellectual property and continued its story with 4 sequels. To date, 5 games comprise the series, focusing on the character of Kain, a vampire anti-hero. Each title features action, exploration, and puzzle solving with some role-playing game elements. The series takes place in the fictional land of Nosgoth, a dark gothic fantasy setting, and revolves around Kain's quest to defy his fate and restore balance in the world. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver introduced another anti-hero protagonist, Raziel. Themes of destiny, free will, morality, redemption, and the hero's journey recur in the storyline, which was inspired by ancient literature, horror fictions, and Shakespearean plays. The Legacy of Kain games has enjoyed critical success, particularly receiving praise for high-quality voice acting, narrative, and visuals, and as a whole has sold over 3.5 million copies as of 2007. The first game to start off the series was Blood Omen Legacy of Kain. And to be honest, I've never played this game. I knew of it, read about it, but never got around to finding it and playing it. That might be because it was released in 1996 on the PlayStation. Let me explain something really quick. My family wasn't able to purchase every single game console that was coming out at the time, and even though I did have an NES and Super NES and even a Genesis, that kind of luxury ended mid-1990s, around the time when the PlayStation came out, and around this time the console wars were heating up. Nintendo had the Ultra 64, which was changed to the Nintendo 64. Sega had the Sega Saturn, which was coming out pretty soon, and now Sony was trying their hand in the whole video game market. So I had to make a choice where my loyalty lied at the time, almost like I was trying to join a gang or something. At the time the console wars were real. So I kind of chose the Nintendo 64, which did come out after the PlayStation and after the Saturn, but I wanted to wait for the Nintendo because I was hoping that that would be the best choice. And it was the cheapest out of the 3, so that kind of helped with a poor family. Blood Omen Legacy of Kain was a 2D action-adventure game with role-playing elements. Probably another reason why I never played the game was that Blood Omen Legacy of Kain is over 50 hours long. Not even the original Legend of Zelda is that long. Not even Ocarina of Time is that long, even if you're going for 100% completionist. Anyways, if you want to review Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, I suggest looking for CGR Undertow's review of the game on YouTube. I was introduced to the series with a sequel, which was Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. It released in 1999 on the PlayStation, and later in 2000 it was released to the Sega Dreamcast. I actually played the Dreamcast version, which, yeah, I still wasn't really on the PlayStation fan wagon. Sega, I had a lot of memories with it, so I was like, let's try the Dreamcast, and I really liked the Dreamcast. But yeah, my first impressions were on the Dreamcast, and that was amazing. I'll be focusing on Soul Reaver today. If you want me to talk about the other games in the series, leave a comment down below. Like I said, I played it on the Dreamcast, but for this review I'm getting the game footage from the PC version as I no longer own a copy of the Dreamcast version. Unlike Blood Omen, Soul Reaver is a 3D action adventure instead of a 2D action adventure, but still keeps up with a hack and slash type of action. Also, you don't play as Kain, you get to play as his first lieutenant Raziel, who Kain betrays and leaves him for dead at the bottom of a whirlpool, or something. Since vampires are deathly allergic to water, this should mean Raziel's death is for sure, but then the Elder God revives Raziel as a wraith, but only after Raziel takes a 1500-year fish nap at the bottom of a river. Thanks a lot, Elder God. Kain is one evil bastard, and to sum the plot of Soul Reaver up rather quickly, Nosgoth, the place where Kain lives, is protected by 9 pillars of Nosgoth, each pillar with its own guardian. Kain wants to rule Nosgoth, so he killed 8 of the Pillar Guardians, only to find out he himself is the only remaining Pillar Guardian. Instead of killing himself, he dooms Nosgoth into a state of decay, raises his vampire army, decimates all human life, and makes vampires the new dominant apex predator. But unbeknown to Kain, the Elder Guardian lies beneath Nosgoth and is a true ruler of the land because the Elder Guardian controls the Wheel of Fate. Since vampires are immortal and humans are no more, the Wheel of Fate stalls and Nosgoth is pretty much on the brink of collapsing on itself. So why does Kain kill Raziel? Oh yeah, because Raziel gets the ability to grow wings and Kain cannot, which makes Kain jealous. And jealous Kain is not a happy Kain. Alright, enough backstory, time to play the game. Like I said, I'm playing the Windows version because I no longer have a copy of the game for the Sega Dreamcast. First, we were treated to a very well directed cutscene giving us some exposition on Raziel from Raziel. The voice acting is pretty high quality in my opinion. If something does look ugly though, I have to remind myself that this game is 14 years old. So when you remind yourself that this game is 14 years old, I really have to say that the voice acting is top notch and the graphics are really good for the time. After the cutscene, you sort of meet the Elder God and he sort of explains your new fate and what he expects from you. Alright, so about the first 10 minutes or so is meant as a tutorial. It shows you the 2 lower level enemies in the game and how to beat them and the usual tutorial stuff. The atmosphere is amazing here. You start off in a dark, gothic, underwater area, or at least I think it's underwater. Since you're no longer a vampire, water is no longer an issue to you for the most part, but in the spirit world, the water is...
Water has neither heft nor lift. It stands as thin as air.
So yeah, let's just say the spirit world is a wacky world. I have to say the lack of camera control is very annoying. I got lost and confused in the tutorial, and it took me almost 5 minutes to figure out what to do to progress. This is a huge turnoff for me. How am I supposed to get fully interested in a game when I can't see everything? But hey, the music is sublime. The gothic orchestra music really makes the atmosphere that much better. It really does. It's not too overbearing, which is awesome. The gameplay is fun, brings me back to the late 1990s, reminds me of Tomb Raider in a way. There are puzzles in the game, and for the most part the puzzles are easy. It's the damn camera angles that make things difficult. Jumping is smooth to a certain extent, floating on your wings is nice. It just seems like the detection box of where Raziel is capable of grabbing onto things is not that great. The enemies are easy, and kudos for variety, while in the spectral realm you have the Slaw, or something, whose health bar is indicated by a glowing color around their head. Once the color turns red, they have a high tendency to run away from the fight. Again, very frustrating only due to the camera. Then you have the fledgling Dumahim and adult Dumahim, a mutated breed of vampire. This is where my anger for the camera intensifies. The only way to kill these things is either by throwing them into water, throwing them onto a wall spike, throwing them into fire, or if you're smart enough to know that the low-hanging torches and spears were not decorations, were actual weapons, you can use those against these things. But if you did not know that little fun fact about the torches and spears, then you want to throw the damn game out the window. If you don't have a weapon, well, that means you have to just keep picking these things up and throwing them. This is bullshit. If I was able to control the camera and see where Raziel was looking, it might have been easier. But no, the camera is like a middle finger, insulting you when you need it the most. It is so frustrating. I mean, come on, does it have to be this hard? If you have a torch, you're good for only one enemy, but I was able to keep the same spear axe looking thing for a while, so that was really helpful. I'm frustrated to no end. I can't play this game, let alone beat this game with this camera. I know a lot of people were complaining about the Mario 64 camera, but at least it was controllable. Look at this. To progress I have to go over the water by jumping from platform to platform. But how am I supposed to gauge my jump to land on the next platform? Fuck, I just died! I give up. I have to give up. You want a review? Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver has an amazing story, with amazing music and an amazing atmosphere that just draws you in for more. The cutscenes are nice. They don't feel like they're wasting your time, which is amazing. The attacking is okay. Good when you figure out that you can actually use the wall decorations that I seriously thought were wall decorations. But the camera is utter shit. I hate the camera. I understand times were changing. People wanted 3D games. It was the new thing to do, and it was so cool. And that also meant that they had to figure things out on the fly as they're developing the game. But I ask you, how am I supposed to work with this camera? What? The camera moves? Why would you keep that from the player?